Very sorry for all of those delays. As usual, please let me know if the microphone and everything else is working fine. Oh, fuck, we're not live, are we? I don't know. Let me know if you can hear me fine, if everything is okay. And we will get straight into it very, very shortly. It's not live, is it? No. Oh, it is. Okay, great. We're here. Okay, perfect. So, yeah, a lot to talk about today. One of my main focuses today in our live stream will be what's been happening with Ethereum and what's also been happening with Ripple. So, I'm going to be talking about quite a few things today. I just want to wait for, okay, everyone's saying all good. Perfect. Okay, great. So let's get straight into it then. A couple of things have happened today. Our move up on Bitcoin specifically has matured. Bitcoin, if we take a look at what's been happening here, again, we're going to use a different chart where I haven't drawn anything. I want to look at quite a small time frame. Once again, I want to go zooming in onto the 1 hour time frame, and I want to show you a pattern that Bitcoin appears to be in right now. And actually, more important than that, a pattern that Bitcoin has been repeating quite a lot. So I'm going to draw a couple different things here, and as I keep drawing, your mind is going to continue being absolutely blown. So let's do this now. I'm going to start... Where am I going to start? I'm going to start around here, and what I'm going to draw for you is a descending triangle. I'm going to draw another one. Here we go. Another descending triangle. Another one. Here we go. Another descending triangle. There are a lot of these that we can draw on this chart, but the overarching idea with all of these patterns that we're seeing in this chart right now is that Bitcoin keeps consolidating in the same ways that it has been consolidating, and then breaking up in the same ways that it has been consolidating. Here we go. I think we can draw another one here if I'm not mistaken. Let me show you this one. Another descending triangle. Again, some of these, I'm kind of stretching the definition of a descending triangle in some of these cases, but absolutely the point still remains the same here, which is that Bitcoin has these tight consolidation patterns where it ends up just kind of trading sideways and doing some boring stuff, in this case compressing before it makes a move up. So it's absolutely great. I really like seeing this. It's definitely a sign that gives me more confidence in this trend. And actually, most importantly, I think with this trend, Bitcoin right now, it did end up taking that leg up that I mentioned in yesterday's live stream. But what didn't happen for Bitcoin is a continuation higher. Bitcoin did the classic thing of traded sideways, did something a little bit more boring, and that gave the rest of the market big chances to shoot up. Tron up by 11%, Ethereum up by 6%, Ripple, my goodness, up by 24%. Ripple absolutely exploding. But before I continue, as we go on, because this is a live stream, please keep dropping your questions here in the chat, and a shout out to Marcus for being the first person to click like on this live stream. So big thank you to you. Really do appreciate the support. Let's continue though. Bitcoin trading sideways and giving the altcoin market a chance to breathe and thrive. This is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to talk about this big pump in a second, and actually, more importantly, why I don't care about it. And actually, well, you guys already know I don't care about anything that happens in these markets. But more important than that, how I'm going to be trading it. I'm not going to be trading alongside. I'm going to be going short on Ripple. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that later, though, not right now. Let's go back to Bitcoin and Ethereum, because these are the stars of the show, in my opinion, right now. Bitcoin ended up trading sideways, and it's the classic thing. I already brought it up to you many times. When Bitcoin does this, Ethereum usually has a chance to explode, and Ethereum really has used that opportunity very well. I'm super happy with it. I feel like a very proud father right now. If we throw the Bitcoin chart on top of Ethereum's chart and really look at what's been happening during this rally, what I want to do is drop a vertical line here and another one here. And another one, yeah, I think that's pretty much good enough. And what we can see here quite clearly is Bitcoin, yeah, kind of, and another one here, especially in this area, it's much clearer to see Ethereum ended up taking its next leg up and rose really high. I mean, this is quite a few percentage points it went up by, yeah, about 6%, nearly 7% that Ethereum was able to push higher. Whereas Bitcoin kind of, traded sideways, if not dipped. And I think this is nothing out of the ordinary. This is nothing that should take us by surprise by this point, because it's the same thing I keep warning you guys about within this market. You know, like when Bitcoin takes a bit of a breather, that's usually where Ethereum has a chance to explode higher. And if we zoom out on this chart, Ethereum actually right now is getting very, very close, or I should say is rapidly approaching my targets. Ethereum already hit my first main target. Well, it's not a main target, but it hit my first target on this chart, which stands at $530 roughly. This is a target that I drew for you in yesterday's live stream when I was doing a bit of live analysis. Ethereum already reached this zone, and it's encountering some issues here. If we trace the blue line, the blue dotted line, and this green line, they're kind of neck and neck right now. Ethereum can't seem to break this level at the moment, which is to be expected because this area is offering resistance to Ethereum at the moment. We know why it's offering resistance. It's because Ethereum previously, if we do look at some of the lines that I can draw for you now on this chart, it was having reversals around these kinds of levels. Take a look at this, take a look at what's going on here. Ethereum is having reversals around this level, and so it is a level of interest. So it's absolutely no surprise that we break out from one side over here and we start finding trouble at the next area over here. This is no coincidence in my opinion. This is really, really good. I love this sign. As we go along, if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe. This is something I spoke about very openly in yesterday's live stream, continuously warning you about this for weeks, if not months as well. And people who have been viewing this channel have been fully up to date with what this price action looks like all the while. So this has been very, very impressive. If you do want to keep gaining access to these insights as quickly as possible, then subscribe and tick the bell so you get notified as soon as I'm putting out these videos and live streams. Obviously, I love doing these lives with you. Ethereum encountering resistance over here. What I'm more interested in though is this $600 level. If we zoom out, what have I done? If we zoom out on this Ethereum chart, and yes, I'm very aware we crossed above 485. If we zoom out and take a look at this line over here, this is where I'm more interested in potentially finding some support, because as you can see, there's actually a little bit more interaction that happens around this level, specifically with more key levels. I mean, it's still not strong in my opinion, but there is more going along over here. So as soon as Ethereum is able to rise above this green line conclusively and get some headway, I would expect it to make its way up to this next green line. But again, the picture here is very much the same that I painted for you yesterday, ladies and gents, and that is Ethereum really, broadly speaking here, in my opinion, according to my analysis, it doesn't have any strong resistance in these ranges. These green lines are literally, as far as I see, they are just pit stops, and the only heavy area of resistance I see ahead for Ethereum is going to be around the $700 range. I think that Ethereum should have a very easy time rising above these levels, going off the back of what I've just said in today's live stream and in yesterday's live stream. I think Ethereum should have a very easy rise up, and we're seeing that. I mean, we're seeing a very similar rally to what Ethereum did the first time around, had a nice drawback, now moving up again. Obviously, this all hinges on what's happening with Bitcoin, though, because here's the thing. I mean, we are very, very close to the all-time high. If we take a look at this chart again, where I drew some of these ascending triangles, but we zoom out, I mean, we're very, very close to the all-time high, and like I said in the last video, it could literally just be the case of, you know, Bitcoin takes one more leg up and it ends up, you know, reaching its all-time high. And at a place like that, Bitcoin could definitely see a bit of a dump. You know, it's not something that I would like to rule out. And so if Bitcoin does see a bit of a dump, I mean, what we can see from here is if we measure it, I'm actually curious, I should measure this on Ethereum too. When this dump initiated to where we are right now, Bitcoin has dropped by 1.5%, but Ethereum from its peak, which was, yeah, around here, it's dropped by, oh, it's my bad, okay, well, Ethereum's dropped by the same amount. However, when things get dangerous with Bitcoin, slap on the camera now because I'm about to drop some wisdom for you guys. When things get dangerous for Bitcoin and Bitcoin really starts to hesitate and fall and start crashing and, you know, panic starts setting in, because, guys, you got to keep in mind, it's the same thing I was talking to you about quite recently with Bitcoin. You know, when, you know, the people who are buying Bitcoin right now are largely the emotional people who are feeling a fear of missing out. You know, like when people say things like, oh, it's institutions buying Bitcoin right now, it's bullshit, because people with actual money, people with real money and real skin in the game, they don't panic buy when the market is rallying higher. You know, I mean, we all know that there's going to be another point in this market where there's a big crash or where there's a lot of sideways trading action and people get bored, and that's where real money enters the market. That's why I always say when the market gets boring, this is not the time to turn off and stop being interested. This is very much the time to stay in the game, because this is where the next millionaires are made when the market really heats up again. I say this all the time. VIP members are the best examples of people who listen to this and then benefit from it as well. But institutions, they are not the people who are buying this. These are emotional traders and emotional investors, and those are the people that are very much subject to panic. And Bitcoin is a very volatile asset class. I just realized I was blocking my whole screen. Bitcoin is a very volatile asset class, but Ethereum is even worse when it comes to that. So if Bitcoin ends up getting a quick and large dump, I think Ethereum is going to get hit even harder. And this, everything I've said here with regards to Ethereum punching above its resistance levels, this all hinges on if Ethereum, if Bitcoin ends up dumping lower, then none of this is going to happen in my opinion. But that can never be a bad thing for Ethereum in my position, because, in my opinion, because all that means is we're going to come down to test support levels. And if there's anything you guys know me for, it's that I never get scared when prices fall during an uptrend, because all we get are healthier setups to continue to ride this same dragon up. Something very, very important that I want to point out to you right now is your mentality and views on things might be changing when things are really, really sexy right now. But I have a perfect analogy for you, gentlemen. It is where you are in a club and you are drunk and this ugly fat woman looks really, really appealing to you because you haven't had any action for a couple of months. But you know that because you're drunk and intoxicated, i.e. amazed by this amazing rally, you should know, or at least the next morning you do know, that it was probably not a good decision to do that. And you're intoxicated right now when you look at this chart and this amazes you and you have dollar signs going off in your eyes. And it's something really important to keep in mind, because it will cloud your judgment and it will make you make irreversible decisions, quite big decisions that could result in potentially very, very big. Actually, something very particular that I'm going to be acknowledging with regards to this inside of the VIP group. It's something that a VIP member told me about. So obviously VIP members receive quite exclusive voice messages of me really breaking down the meta game of trading, like the stuff that goes on in your head that make it difficult to, commit to ideas and different things like that. I tackle those subjects head on inside of the VIP group. But right here, if Bitcoin does end up taking a big dump, then I think everything's going to go tits up for Ethereum, for lack of a better word. But I mean, the good news is Ethereum just has a lot of support. It needs a little bit more time for the support to develop. Take a look at what's happening with the Ichimoku cloud, for example. Ethereum needs more time to develop this support, make the support a bigger range that looks a little bit more defined. But what we're seeing already when we take a look at some of these key support levels, and I will go back to Bitcoin in just a second, but this is super important in my opinion. I'm going to talk about why I think Bitcoin hasn't had its leg yet. But what we're seeing with Ethereum right now is support lining up between $460 and $500. And this is a very, very good range for support for Ethereum, in my opinion. And the good news is that we'll get there within only 6 days. Yeah, 6 days, if my math is correct. So with only 6 days left to reach this support area, I think that if Ethereum does start to take a slow tumble down, or even if it dumps quite low quite quickly, it's only going to fall into heavy support areas, and that makes me feel very reassured with the trend. If we look at momentum on the daily chart, we're seeing momentum around a similar kind of level. If Ethereum quickly falls down to this level, it's going to have a lot of momentum according to these exponential moving average, according to these EMAs, which form a ribbon. It's going to have a lot of support from all of the long-term momentum, and that is very reassuring in my opinion. Very much the same case with Bitcoin. There is a lot of support lining up at quite key levels now, around the 50 and 16K level. And again, the really good thing with this trend, in my opinion, was that Bitcoin was able to float around sideways for longer than it did the last time we hit these levels back in 2017. And I think that's allowed Bitcoin the chance to actually find support create support in areas where it didn't really have support before. That is what really excites me the most about this trend. There are a couple of people saying things like, Bitcoin is moving in a much weaker way than in 2017. And there's a good reason for them to say that. If we take a look at, I'm not going to show you the statistics now because it will take me too long to bring them up. But if you take a look at the statistics, it took Bitcoin 87 days to go from 4K to 20K the first time when we were in 2017. But this time, throughout this trend, let's actually measure it. I mean, I know the number anyway, but let's measure it for drama, because it's funny. Bitcoin going from 4K here to where we are now, it's 250 days, 254 days. This is massive. Compared to last time, it took 87 days, and now it's taken Bitcoin much more. It's taken Bitcoin 250 days, right? And let's just measure it anyway. Again, just again for the sake of drama, because it's fun. This is 70 days, 80 days. It took Bitcoin to do it the first time, and now we're looking at 3 times that, right? So Bitcoin is going a lot slower than what happened in 2017, and part of the blessing that brings us is if we really zoom in, we have established a lot of support, right? We've traded sideways a lot. We have a lot of price history. And why is that important? It's important because if there's a lot of price history, there is reason for people to buy Bitcoin if it starts dropping, right? There are going to be reasons to be bullish. And I mean like real technical reasons, not just hype. I mean real solid technical reasons to buy Bitcoin. We have them now. And I think this makes the rally really healthy. And it definitely adds a lot of confidence for me to this trend. So that makes me think again that skies keep looking clear for coins like Ethereum, because even if there is that kind of crash, I think it's only going to come down to support levels and then carry on making its way higher. Obviously, one of the key things I'll be checking will be Fibonacci retracements, but I'm not going to do that yet because we don't know if we're actually in a retracement yet. So it's too early to say. Actually, I'm curious if we look at today's rally, do we get a Fibonacci hit? Yeah, so we've bounced off the 236 level. So I mean, it doesn't really mean anything because this is a very short time frame, but that was interesting to see nonetheless. So that's what I'm looking at right now with Ethereum. And, Ripple is another interesting one that I want to take a look at. Remember, as I'm going along, drop your questions in the comment section. I have every question here on my second screen. Thank you for all the support, by the way. Lots of really nice messages. Shout out to Suresh. Saying, bro, you're amazing, keep it going. Thank you very much. I will do. Drama Queen in the comments. Keep dropping your questions, I'll get to them. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe because you don't want to miss out on content like this, especially when things are so timely. This is super valuable. I'm going to be briefing you guys, especially VIPers, on how I'm trading coins like Ripple over the next couple of days and weeks, and I'll be doing that in future videos. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure you do that so you can gain access to this content. Slap that bell as well so you get notified about when I'm making those videos as we go along. But here we go with Ripple. It's followed a very typical trend that it loves to do all the time. I'm going to look at the Ripple and Bitcoin chart for even more drama. Ripple does this all the time. Its most famous situation where it did this was when Ripple hit $3 up here in 2018. And since then it's been at like 20 cents or something stupid. And Ripple, it has a tendency of, selling off really badly over the long term. For some reason, by the way, Ripple lovers, they completely ignored this. I don't know why. I really don't. It's like having an absolutely beautiful wife sometimes when she puts makeup on, but she has like 3 STDs and they just completely ignore it. I don't get it. It's really weird. But it literally is that crippling, in my opinion, this long-term sell-off action. However, it's broken up by bouts of extreme buying action, where there's a lot of fear of missing out. And why is that? A lot of you guys who are new to crypto, you probably know why. It's because Ripple looks very cheap, and you think that because it's cheap, it's easy to buy and it might do what Bitcoin did. And that demonstrates a very dangerous lack of understanding. But I'll talk more about that later. I'm not going to give you the reasons for why it's not cheap. If we go off market capitalization, it's not cheap. And if you don't know what that means, you can Google it in your own time and take a look. Just Google that phrase and you'll find out why Ripple isn't cheap. But you know, it is broken up by really big pumps, but then these rallies, they do continue trading downwards. So I don't think that this is any different, and the only thing I'm interested in doing is looking at where Ripple might end up topping out. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to open up this chart. I'm going to take off my webcam. And I haven't done this yet, so this is a little bit of live analysis for you. I'm going to open up this chart, and I'm going to try and identify where potential resistance levels might be for Ripple. So let's take a look at this. Let's see if I can identify any of them. I'm going to do this live with you. So I'm just going to drop a couple of horizontal lines wherever I see fit, wherever I'm guessing that there might be a little bit of resistance for Ripple. And this is where I'm going to be able to start. Look at that. Look at how accurate that is while I'm talking to you live. With how many viewers have we got, by the way? 300 viewers. Nice. If we have any questions, like I said, keep dropping them in the comments and tag me at FORFLIES. Just like that, so I can see your message a little bit easier. But right there, we've got some key levels where Ripple might end up getting rejected if it does continue up on this uptrend. And these are the levels where I would look at potentially entering a short position. But I think more important than that, you know, I mean, I think there are going to be a lot of opportunities to enter shorts, but they might end up, you know, really screwing you over. So here's a really good example. Ripple ends up topping out very close to this green line on this blue candle right here, but then the next one it takes a leg up. And so you would have rightfully probably thought that the uptrend, this big spike, would end over here, but it didn't, and it took one more leg up. And this is quite a big leg, especially for someone like me who's trading on leverage. A 5-6% move would probably mean that I would get stopped out. My stop loss would be hit and I would be in a loss. So this is an example where it's quite dangerous to game Ripple in both directions, whether it's up or down, because it can be very erratic and irrational. So actually my take would be for Ripple not to trade the peak and enter a short position at the peak. My strategy with Ripple, I hope this isn't going to blow your mind, because this comes, it shouldn't blow your mind if you're not gambling. My strategy will be to simply wait a little bit and enter a short position on Ripple after a big sell-off like this is initiated. Let me zoom in and show you what this looks like, right? I'm interested in this sell-off right here. Take a look at this. You would have rightfully thought that this rally ended over here, and it did end. It slowly starts trending downwards, and then bam, it takes another leg. Where it's a lot more predictable that Ripple is going to enter a big downtrend is when it is when it sees really big dumps. So I would probably see this really big dump. It bounces off support. I would probably enter a short position somewhere like here, or maybe even somewhere here, or maybe even below this green line. I mean, I'm really very willing to wait a long time to enter a short position on Ripple, because it can explode and be very irrational. But the good news is that if I did enter this short position, I mean, there's pretty much unlimited scope to play it lower, because Ripple just completely falls off the bottom of the earth. But just within the space of these two green lines, that's a 6% drop. And I mean, I would be trading this on 10 times leverage, for example. So that's a really easy 60% profit, and I would definitely be quite happy with that. So that's what I'm looking at with Ripple, to kind of identify where I might be entering a short position. I'm not interested in entering long positions on Ripple, because as you can see from all of these really quick spikes that Ripple sees all the time, I mean, these are just you know, like this is a drug addict getting his cocaine bump. By the way, I really, this is how I see Ripple Army people. I mean, they're just like cocaine addicts looking for their next bump, and they're experiencing a really intense high right now. But honestly, it doesn't mean anything in it, and they always end up coming down slowly and painfully over the long term. So that's what I'm seeing for Ripple. These are some of the key levels I would be watching. But like I said, I wouldn't really trade this until it conclusively looks like it's topped out, and I've waited a really long time, and then more importantly, when we've already seen a big sell-off, because slow sell-offs they might not be real, you know, like that they could have a second leg like this one over here. But when you get a really, really big sell-off and it happens quickly, that's where it's usually a sign that, yeah, the market is going to continue tanking for a very, very long time. This is what I'm looking to game. Right now, I'm staying well away from this. If you made money on this, congratulations. Gamblers also make money, but this means absolutely nothing to me. Still meaningless, still completely uninterested in what Ripple is doing. Only thing I'm looking to do is profit off the tears of Ripple Army and keep going like that. So those are my thoughts on Ripple. Let's bring it back to Bitcoin though, because one of the questions I want to tackle is, why is Bitcoin not pumping up? The rest of the markets are, right? We're seeing really, really big green. Look at this on bcash. I mean, it's up by 16%. We're seeing really, really big green moves, but Bitcoin has ended up trading a little bit lower. Guys, this is a classic example of people feeling a lot of confidence in the market right now, and so they're moving money into other places, like, for example, the altcoin market. And that's where you have a situation where a lot of people are feeling very, very confident and very happy with their profits, so they want to take more risk and potentially make more money, right? When you make a lot of money, you are willing to take more risk, so you're willing to put your money in riskier places, and that's where we start to get FOMO rallies happening. That's where really, really big pumps happen, and people start feeling an intense fear of missing out, which carries the pump even higher. These are situations where the market is very dangerous, but if you're already trading it, then congratulations to you, because it would be very, very profitable. I was actually in a long position on Ethereum, which I entered around over here, precisely to trade this entire move. It would have been a really big profit, but unfortunately, it ended up closing quite early for me. Would have been in a 60% profit right now, but that's completely fine. I'm not really crying over profits that I didn't make. It's, first of all, completely meaningless and a waste of time. More importantly, it throws off your psychology. But it's the same thing that I was doing with VIP members for a very, very long time, showing VIP members how I was trading these moves on Ethereum. Let's remove these. I don't know why these alerts are still here. They're already triggered, but I've been telling VIP members about how I will be trading this move on Ethereum, and I've traded it a lot throughout this trend. Actually made some really, really nice moves throughout this trend, and it's part of a wider re-strategizing of my trend. I've been changing my strategy with my trading style for quite a while. I'm always refining it. In fact, the way I say it is, I am defining and refining my trading style constantly, and actually lately it's resulted in a 90% accuracy with my trades over the past 3 months. It's really, really cool, and I'm going to show you something very cool, but before I do, I have to note that VIP is not something where you should be copying me, and I'm keeping, I don't share this information publicly because it will make people copy me, right? Like, that's not the intention. It's not even allowed. But the intention for me to be keeping this data, actually I don't even keep this data, my assistants do it, is so that I can keep track of the potential of my trades, right? So I know if I'm going in the right direction, I know, where things can be tweaked. And also, this isn't my real trading journal. My real trading journal is a lot more intimate. It has a lot more intimate details, but this is very, very cool. It is the result of what I've been doing with all of my quite real risk management and different things like that. You can see how, and by the way, this column is only the maximum percent I closed, right? So like I said, I'm only interested in potential. Some of these trades would have hit my stop loss at break even afterwards, right? But as we can see here, after changing my strategy, what VIP members have been watching me do in real time is how I've been navigating these positions and closing winners after winners after winners. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, this spreadsheet is now fully up to date. And it's a very, very good example of how I've been refining my strategy and then bringing myself deeper and deeper into profits and consistent gains, which is obviously always my top priority. So I'm really happy with how well it's been working out. Actually, this spreadsheet, by the way, it goes all the way back to December 2018, and you can see how there were a lot more losses. Still very, very good success rate, but there were a lot more losses spread out across the spreadsheet for quite a while. But then as I kept refining my strategy and bringing it closer and closer to what it is now, these losses became more spread out. The losses became smaller. If we take a look at what's going on higher up, there's a 24% loss, a couple of 20% losses here. This was obviously not a good month for me. A big 66% loss, a very, very risky one. But then as we go deeper down and we go lower down, these losses become a lot smaller. There's 18%, minus 20%, break even, minus 35%, definitely a big loss for me. That happened at the end of October, minus 18%. But as you can see, the trend I think is quite clear. The winners are becoming more consistent and even bigger in a lot of cases. 143%, 100%, 385%, 105%. This is the kind of data I'm tracking. I keep this private, so I don't even share this with people anymore because I don't want people to copy me. This isn't the intention of VIP, but it is a very, very good show of how the trades have been going. Like I said, I'm a little bit bummed out that I'm not still in that long position, but I did enter it yesterday very much with the intention of trading this trend. And Bitcoin Atlas saying, wow, I should have shown it earlier. Yeah, well, like I said, the reason I don't is it's not right, I think, to be showing that kind of stuff all the time. I actually let the testimonials we have speak for me. Here's a member of VIP who, when he was about a week into VIP, he was feeling very, very upset and scared. This is at the beginning of November. He says he's down $9,000, but playing poker, he learned some things that, in this case, where he knows that he should be, what was he saying? He knows when he should be stopping the bleeding. He's down 50% on his portfolio in a bull market, so he feels like he's doing something really, really wrong. And this was sent, I think like 20 days ago, something like that. And or maybe just a week ago. Yeah, this was sent a week ago, and this is what he sent me today. Take a look at this massive change in tone. He told me that he took some scalping trades just in one day, made $2,600, well on the way to make back that 9K. That's already 30% on the way to make back the money that he lost. And he's done all of that inside of a day. Super, super impressive. And he's telling me about his strategy there with low risk, high returns. It is absolutely amazing. Making a monthly salary inside of a day, but more importantly, only a week ago he was very, very anxious. But within his first 3 weeks of VIP, he's just blown it out of the water. He's discovering consistency and safe trading, but more importantly, he's discovering this stuff in ways where he's still profiting big. This is the main thing that I keep telling people when I talk to them about VIP and the PMs and different things like that, where the steps to join are right here, where inside of the VIP group, I will be telling you how I have what I would consider a much safer approach. I mean, you might not call it safe, but it's much safer than most traders, and it's very, very conservative, but it's still possible to book really big gains, and I show you how I do that inside of the VIP group. So if you're interested, make sure to click on the first link in the description down below. Click on the @FORFLIES button at the bottom of any post within the FORFLIES Gold channel, which is right here. And then click on send message to ask me how to join VIP, and I'll give you all of the information. I got a comment saying, can I see the proof? Yeah, I mean, there's just screenshots of every time I entered a trade. I just kind of give a little bit of the, give a screenshot of what happened, so you can kind of pause this and take a look. I mean, I'm just picking random ones. There's just examples of when I'm entering a trade. I will tell people usually beforehand what's going on. So this is usually a paragraph. Sometimes it's just a sentence because I already gave context earlier. I will list the reasons I'm entering, the reasons I shouldn't enter, and then give VIP members all of the exact information on the trades that I'm making. Again, with this strategy that I continue to refine, this system that I continue to define and refine, this trade actually is the one that ended up hitting a beautiful 385% profit. This is the one I kept on talking about, but there's a lot more. Show you one that resulted in a loss. You can just check these numbers. You can pause the video and check these numbers and see what ended up happening. But again, very much the same thing, giving a bit of an explanation, then telling people how I'm trading it, telling VIP members how I'm trading it, and then going on. Let's see this trade over here on Ethereum with a very nice 105% profit. Again, as I mentioned, I already gave some context about this trade earlier in the day, and then I gave VIP members the exact details on how I was trading it, and then, yeah, I entered the trade as well. So really, really cool stuff there, and I'm already seeing some messages of people who want to ask about getting into VIP. So if you want to join VIP and find out exactly what the deal is there with our really, really big discount, then you can do that by following these steps right here. Click on the first link in the description down below, click on the @FORFLIES button, and then click on send message to ask me how to join VIP, and I'll give you all of that information. Back to the chart though. What I am very impressed by, actually let me go to my notes so I make sure I've got this right, is actually one of the things that a lot of you guys might take by surprise, something that a lot of you guys might be surprised by, and it is the one-day trend on Bitcoin. I want to show you the one-day trend on Bitcoin, but specifically the RSI indicator. The RSI is absolutely beautiful here because what it's showing us is that for the past month, let me drop a vertical line, for the past month up to where we are right now, Bitcoin has been trading in overbought territory. In fact, I need my webcam back here. Bitcoin has been trading in overbought territory, which is usually an indication that Bitcoin is going to drop, right? A lot of people will say, oh, when the RSI is high, that's usually when the price starts falling, right? And you can see how in all of these circumstances that I can see on screen, that's not the case. Bitcoin reached overbought territory over here, and if you entered a short position, nothing would have happened. You might have actually lost money. Again, Bitcoin reached overbought territory over here, and then it kept trading higher, and then it just traded sideways. Bitcoin has been overbought now. Let me measure this just to put this into perspective. Bitcoin has been overbought now for a month. For 33 days, Bitcoin has been trading above the overbought line, the 70 line on the RSI, which would make a lot of people very, very quick to say, oh no, Bitcoin's going to go down, but clearly it's not. And this is a really, really good example of where this is an almost useless indicator if you don't know how to use it properly. And guys, the reason that a lot of people end up using this indicator so happily is because it's simple, right? Like, it's the first indicator that you learn when you're learning how to carry out technical analysis, which is completely fine. It makes a lot of sense, but the problem with it is it's too simple and it makes you think you understand a lot. Like, it's a very simple concept to grasp that if the RSI is above it's above the overbought line, it probably means the price is going to go down. It's very simple to grasp. It makes you think you understand technical analysis when in fact it's extremely misleading, because we need to break down what the RSI says. The RSI stands for Relative Strength Index, and that means the relative strength of the trend at this point is very strong. It's very strong here, it's very strong here. It does not mean it's overbought. I don't know why the line means overbought. The line means it's strong. I don't know why it's labeled overbought. What it is useful for, however, is determining momentum. We can determine momentum by looking at the RSI very, very well, and what we can see right now is that momentum is not increasing. Momentum is staying the same, and that's still pretty impressive, right? If Bitcoin keeps this momentum, I don't think you guys are going to be unhappy about that if Bitcoin keeps this momentum, which I think is really, really cool. We can start to see bearish signs where the momentum starts to take a little bit of a dip. Let me see where that starts. That starts around about over here, right? Momentum is no longer rising, and it's actually starting to go down. But again, the price keeps trending higher, and this happens a lot. Take a look at this. We have another very, very clear instance right here of momentum trending downwards. But then the price just explodes higher, and we haven't even come back down to this level yet, right? So again, it's an indicator that is quite easy to understand, but that is actually the doom. Oh, I just realized you couldn't see this. That was so stupid. Anyway, I don't think you needed to. But what I'm saying there is that it is an indicator which is too easy to understand, and I think that can really lead people into a pit of using it where they perhaps shouldn't. I feel really stupid for not moving my my webcam there. That was very, very stupid. But anyway, back to the chart. Let me actually take it off this time. I'm gonna go through a couple questions as well. Need some water. I swear, this year, every time I cough, I think I get COVID. But I've had a couple tests, and each one of them was negative. Just had a test yesterday, actually. Came back negative. What are we talking about here? Okay, so do I trade Forex? No, I don't. Not interested, that's why. When will be a good time to convert ETH to Bitcoin? Can't say. Good entry for Link. I'll talk about Link in a second. Good question. Can you compare the rally where we are now to September, October, November of 2016? A lot of questions to do that. I'll do that later, though. A chart of Link. I will look at Link. Please no Ripple. I'm not interested in Ripple, don't worry. Where did the name FORFLIES come from? Interesting story, but embarrassing. So I'll talk about that later. Check the chart, please. I don't know what that was. Love to see Bitcoin ETH pairing. Yeah, I don't trade Bitcoin ETH, so I'm not gonna look at that. On HBAR, I'm not looking at HBAR. I don't know what that is. So I'm going to go back to the to the main analysis I had here. If we have more questions, keep dropping them as we go along. Once again, coming at you guys live with more live analysis. If you are new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe and hit the like button as well. It really does help the channel grow. Very, very useful. Once again, if you do have questions, by the way, tag me at FORFLIES in the comments, because it makes it a lot more visible for me, and that makes it easier for me to see your message amongst the sea of many, many people. So please do that. It's very, very helpful. Let's go back to my notes though. What have we got? So I've talked to you about the RSI. I've talked to you about how this trend it's apparently weaker than in 2017 because it's slower. But actually going back to that point, because it's very important in my opinion, the fact that this trend this time is so much slower than 2017, right? 2017 took 70, 80 days to go from 4K to 20. In this case, it's taken us 250 days. This is actually still a very, very good thing because it allows Bitcoin to establish support. So when I talk about things like Bitcoin really crashing down very, very hard, I still entirely believe that there is the possibility of that happening, but I'm not concerned about it as much as I would be usually, because I think Bitcoin has had fair chances at establishing support on the way back down. We can actually, on the way up, sorry, and we can see this if we look at this big exponential rally. We spent a lot of time trading sideways at certain levels, and actually unfortunately this one didn't matter, but we spent a lot of time trading sideways and consolidating, and it was exactly that allowed this trend to move it relatively slowly down to its eventual low at $3,800. It took Bitcoin to get to its low here, took Bitcoin 262 days, but for Bitcoin to drop by, and this is a 70% drop roundabout, maybe a little bit more than 70%. But for Bitcoin to drop down by 70% the first time in 2017, this is a really, really big deal, guys. It took Bitcoin 50 days to do it. So let me say that again in clearer ways. For Bitcoin to make its first 70% drop after the exponential rally, it took Bitcoin 50 days. But the second time, when our exponential rally had more of a chance to establish support on the way up, like our current one, it took Bitcoin a lot longer to fall down to that low. It took 262 days. So we're seeing really big differences in this market. We're seeing situations where the market is doing the same thing, but it's doing it a lot slower. And it's also doing it in much healthier ways, which I think indicate that Bitcoin could have a much healthier trend moving forward when it does get its eventual crash. And I definitely think that one of the circumstances that could bring that crash is reaching the all-time high at $19,500 or $20,000, depending on which exchange you're looking at. That is a really, really big deal, in my opinion. So I'm really interested in seeing where Bitcoin might be able to establish some support, because again, I think that's going to be where I'll definitely be opening up a lot of trades within this market. I'm already intending on doing this with coins like Ethereum, although obviously it's not extremely safe at the moment, but I'm still very much interested in doing that because my approach, as you know very well, is to bring my risk down to zero really, really quickly, and that means I've been able to be very aggressive within this trend. I mean, you can take a look at the trades I've made inside of November this year. I've already made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trades inside of November, and I don't know if that looks like a lot to you. It does look like a lot to me. You know, there are some months, for example, where I don't trade a whole lot, and by the way, it's worth mentioning, if I haven't been active or as active as I would like to be at certain points, I will not charge you for your VIP membership, right? And so quite simply, if I feel like it's not been completely fair to charge you, I won't. And a lot of people have seen that actually I delayed their renewal date because I wanted to make sure that I asked them to renew only when it was absolutely the best time to be in VIP, and when I felt like it was fully worth it, where they've been able to see everything I've been doing and see how my strategy has been developing and gain all the beautiful insights that come with that. But as we can see here, it's been a very active trading month. I've been warning about that. You can see quite well 3 trades here, up to 6 trades here, 8 trades already, two-thirds into the month, so it could end at like, 9, 10 trades, something like that. It's a very, very clear trend of my trades going up in frequency, but my losses are not going up. And this is a really, really clear example where I keep talking to you guys about how it's possible to trade safely, but still make big, big, big profits. And there's absolutely nothing that's stopping you from doing that when you start trading in safe ways. It's just about knowing how to do it, and I offer VIP members the insights to see exactly how I do that inside of our group. Again, another message from a member over here making 170% profit on Cardano, mentioning that it's giving him confidence to start using more money in his trades, which I think is really, really cool. But quite importantly, even if you didn't make as much as you wanted to, you still can't complain with 200% profit. This is one of my favorite things about VIP. People will join VIP and all of a sudden 170% profit, they will just shrug it off. It'll be like, oh yeah, whatever, I wish it was 200. You know what I mean? And so I think that's a really, really cool testimonial to be getting, because he's kind of, maybe he's not saying he's disappointed at all, but still wishing it was a little bit better. And that thirst for getting better and better and better, it's always like one of the key traits that I see with VIP members, and I absolutely love it. It's what I thrive off. Like, it doesn't matter how cool you are, how good you are, there's always that next level you can go up to, and that's exactly the mentality that a lot of VIP members have. Once again, this member over here, very nervous when he started his VIP membership, but only a week later making huge moves forward in dollar amount, but crucially in his trading style. Look at all of the beautiful things he's told me that he's doing right here. Crucially, his low risk, high return trades that he's been entering have paid him extremely well. He's trading in a safer way than he used to, and he's still getting paid really well for it. If you want to see how VIP members have been able to do that, if you want to see how I aim to do that in all of my trades in real time, same kind of format as this, with a whole bunch of other content which you can gain access to by following these steps right here, then definitely do that. We've got a big sale coming, and I already see your messages. My assistant will get back to you as soon as possible. So there we go. Let's get back to the analysis here. One of the things that I think Ethereum is in right now is definitely a continuation pattern. Ethereum has been trending higher for a series of hours and is now trading sideways for a couple of hours, and I think it very much could just be in another continuation pattern. And the reason I'm saying that is because it doesn't really have any resistance in this range, and it has it has this green line which we're kind of hovering around. Sorry, this isn't the right. Yeah, this is the right green line. We're kind of hovering around it. We're actually quite far above it now, depending on, I might have drawn it incorrectly, it doesn't really matter, but I think that what we're seeing with Ethereum right now definitely indicates that it could be, if encountering a little bit of resistance right now, but I still think that this can probably only be a continuation pattern, and especially that I think that would be the case if Bitcoin makes another leg up. I think if Bitcoin trades higher now, what we're seeing in this market right now is something that we do occasionally see inside of the crypto space, where at first Bitcoin will be leading the market and Bitcoin will trade higher first, then when it trades sideways, that's when Ethereum starts to spike, for example. But sometimes when that happens, it flips and Ethereum starts to spike, and then Ethereum leads the market instead of Bitcoin. So if that's the case, then it could be that Ethereum is making its move, then Bitcoin makes its move, then Ethereum makes its next move after that. Slowly trades higher when Bitcoin does, then Bitcoin stops trading higher again, and it explodes upwards. The only reason I see a lot of risk here right now in this market is because I think that Ethereum at this stage, at the moment, I think that Ethereum actually, it's going to be at the whim of what happens to Bitcoin. And with Bitcoin being so close to its all-time high, I am concerned about, Bitcoin might end up crashing or something like that, and really, dropping quite low in the wake of that crash. So that is something I'm concerned about, and that is something that I'm keeping an eye on. That's why I'm not, really, really hastily entering positions right now, even though this is quite a high frequency of trades for me. I'm not, super worried about doing that kind of thing at the moment, because I want to make sure that I'm protecting my capital when things could be getting ready to really go quite sour. It's definitely quite important. Let's see what else we have in the chat. Crypto Omega, I live in the UK, can I work for you? My company's actually not in the UK anymore, thank God for that, and nor am I. But yeah, I mean, if you want to do anything, we don't really have any positions to fill. We actually just we expanded the team today actually, and we expanded the team again like a month ago. Actually, it's exactly a month ago that we brought a new staff member on. So we're always expanding, but we're not like we don't have anything to fill in particular. So just message me and tell me how you think you can help, and I will take a look. Kev asking, my thoughts on Google Trends, please. It's sitting far away from all-time highs since 2017. Yeah, good point. A lot of people talking about all-time highs with Google Trends and how we're not there right now. My opinion here is first of all, that does not mean that institutions are buying Bitcoin just because Google Trends aren't going up. I think a big part of it is a lot of the people who want to buy Bitcoin already know about Bitcoin, right? So I know a lot of you guys watching the stream right now, for example, you probably used to trade Bitcoin and now you're back in because this thing is really popping off, and maybe you felt a bit of fear of missing out, and that's why you're buying this, right? So these people, they would be Googling Bitcoin a little bit to find out where they can buy, but a lot of these people, they already have their Coinbase account. They already know where they're buying and different things like that. So, you know, it doesn't really take me by surprise, you know, that Google Trends aren't up so high. And I think really all that means is if you think we're about to have a bull market like 2017, actually, to be fair, we're already in one, but if you think it's going to have similar characteristics of 2017, like Google Trends going up, then it means this thing hasn't even gone crazy yet. So I don't know, it's Bitcoin. It could just spike up to 30k tomorrow. How fun would that be? But we really don't know, so it's difficult to say. What I think about quant, I don't know. I don't analyze quant. Opinion on OXT, no idea. Don't analyze that. Nano, let's take a look at Nano. I looked at Nano a long time ago. I used to trade Nano, so I think it's a sleeping giant. Well, it looks like Ripple, so everything I said on Ripple applies to Nano. Yeah, looks exactly like Ripple. Sleeping giant? I don't think so. Unless you think for some fundamental reason that Nano is really, really good, but as you know very well, I don't really care. So I'm not really gonna be paying attention to that, really. What else have we got here? A good entry for Link. Yeah, let's take a look at Link. Obviously, I can't give you a good entry or anything like that, but Link is something that I'm interested in trading. I've mentioned to you quite a bit. It's now, look at that. Look at how perfect that is. It's found resistance exactly where my red box is. Wow, I did this yesterday on stream for you guys. You guys remember that? I did this on stream for you guys yesterday, and it ended up hitting resistance exactly where I predicted it. That's really, really impressive. Let's stick to the 1 hour time frame because it looks way more impressive. And yeah, so Link's starting to find a little bit of resistance here. I think, again, you know, like everything really is starting to look like, you know, these markets might be ready for a bit of a dip. You know, Link potentially in a perfect world coming down to test this 382 level again and then bouncing higher. I think some of these coins are really starting to look like they could be ready for some big dips, and this all hinges on what happens with Bitcoin, because I think if Bitcoin is able to make a leg up to its all-time high, I don't think Bitcoin is going to stay there, right? I think Bitcoin, if it does go to its all-time high, is going to start dropping after that, because, you know, there will be a lot of selling. Hopefully it drops a lot so that I can get a better entry on these kind of coins, and then I think that's when these coins will really start to take a pummel. Start to take pummeling. I think they'll really start to drop at that point, and so that's what I'm looking at with Link, for example. That's what I'm looking at with Ethereum. I think that these are definitely some cases where, you know, they look like they could be ready to drop. And it all just kind of hinges on what happens with Bitcoin right now, in my opinion. If Bitcoin does end up dropping or spiking and then dropping, you know, something a little bit like this, then I think that's going to mean a lot of resistance and a lot of rejections for coins like Link. As it stands right now, if Link is able to get above this red line right here, which is $15, I think it's a straight shot up to $20. And I think the big area of resistance for Link is this red box. So if Link is able to rise above this red box, I would be very happy. If it rises above this red line, I would be even happier. Let me extend this Fibonacci. This Fibonacci retracement has been so useful throughout this trend. It's absolutely amazing. And I've kept on talking about it. Like I said, I have a video on the Fibonacci retracement as well inside of the FORFLIES Academy. We've had a lot of uptake with that course lately. A lot of people very interested in getting in on that, and it's been so useful for people who potentially like they're throwing money in the wrong places, but then panicking and closing their positions early, for example, and really shooting themselves in the foot when those things start to go wrong. It's really helped with those kind of psychological issues, but then also teaching the kind of analysis I do in much more depth, so that you can do this stuff all on your own and become much more dependent on what you do. Because like one of the big reasons I told people not to copy me, one of the big reasons I don't show the spreadsheet often, is because if you are copying somebody else, you're not able to actually trade in a safe way for yourself. You'll never be independent, and it's going to cause really big problems. Even if the other person you're watching trades really well, you're still not likely to do as well as that person, because you wouldn't have confidence in what you're doing. But people who do end up going through our amazing advanced academy in conjunction with their VIP membership, they typically have the best results out of anyone I've seen, both in this case, like this guy over here, not only booking really big gains, but also having very safe strategies to get them. I've seen the most comprehensive results from people who did end up taking up that course. And if you're interested in the details, again, you can follow these steps to message me directly and ask me about the course, and I'll give you all of the information. But back to the link right here. I'm not going to touch it over here. It's in an area of resistance, so ideally it would end up dropping lower. But I mean, with this kind of market, with the wings that this market has, honestly, it's anyone's call. It's just a coin flip. But I'm not interested in this right now. It is at resistance. It's inside resistance, which is probably even worse. And no, it's not worse. It's a bit better actually, but it's inside resistance. And so I'm not interested in touching this. If Link is able to rise above, 15.6, if Link is able to go above $16, I think it's really going to fly up to its all-time high. But ideally, we'll start to see a drop now and a bit of a pullback. One of the key things that I wanted to talk about inside this video, again, I'm blocking the bloody screen, I'm so sorry. One of the key things I wanted to talk about inside of this live stream is actually the idea that because people are now putting their money into the altcoin market, I think that's an indication of people feeling quite confident in these markets, because I mentioned a little bit earlier that if people are putting money into the altcoin market, that they're probably doing it because they're very confident and happy with what's been happening with Bitcoin. And if that's the case, then I absolutely think that that is a sign that the market could be reaching a temporary peak, because it is a sign that people are really confident, really happy with the market, exuberance starting to set in, and those are definitely early warning signs that this trend could be ready to drop. And that's something I want to stay very consciously aware of, because as a trader and as an analyst, if I'm not, more importantly as a trader, if I'm not aware of those kind of things, it could result in really big losses. I mean, that's why my intention always first and foremost is to protect my money. A lot of people will, for example, they will lose a lot of money and then make it back, and they'll get back to break even after like 6 months, and they will say, wow, I'm really pissed off, I'm only at break even. And I turn around and say, well, what about all the lessons you learned and you didn't have to pay for them, because you're now at the same. I was talking to one VIP member who had the same problem just today. He ended up buying our advanced course and upgrading his membership to a quarterly. Actually, he already had a quarterly membership. He ended up renewing his quarterly membership because of it. Because I told him, he's like, yeah, at the end of these 3 months, I'm back to where I started, and I feel really upset. And I had to tell him, like, yo, you've done really well if you're back to where you started and you have so many more lessons. I mean, obviously it would have been better if you were making a lot of gains on top of that too, don't get me wrong, but the fact that you got back to where you started, but now you're much wiser and you're not going to make the same mistakes that lost you money in the past, isn't that a big win? Because we're more interested in where you're going to get to in the future. I mean, the next 6 months are going to pass anyway. Coronavirus isn't going anywhere. Nothing's really going to change, but you now are much better equipped to tackle the same market, and that really excites me. So that I think that's a really big thing that I do want to be touching on inside of this, and it's one of the big concepts that I talk a lot about inside of the course. So give you all of that information when you do reach out. Just want to take a look at any more questions I might have as well. Thank you very much. Let's Ride on Two Wheels says, FORFLIES, you the man. What else have we got in the comments section? Getting ready to wrap this live stream up. So if we have any more questions, do let me know. I think the key thing I'm waiting for right now is I want to see what happens if Bitcoin is able to reach its all-time high. Ideally, Bitcoin gets rejected. Although, again, we really don't know in this market. And if it does get rejected, hopefully it's a quick one. Hopefully it's a deep one. Because I think that's going to give this market a chance to really reset and do things in a healthy way where it starts to get retracements and then carries on trading higher. So I'm definitely quite excited for that. What else have we got? I got a question about the 5-year chart on Bitcoin. I'm not looking at the 5-year. Actually, do you know what? I'm curious now. Let me look at the 5-year chart. What are you doing to me? Oh my god. 5-year? I can't even look at the 5-year chart. How am I meant to do that? That's 60 months, right? How is that Did you mean 5 month? Oh no, he means 5-year. He means 5-year. Yeah, I'm not looking. You can't do analysis on this. This is wishful thinking now. FORFLIES giveaway. Maybe. We'll see. Probably do is what I'll probably do is yeah people who join VIP do a giveaway to give them a full refund on their membership. Might do that to 1 or 2 people. What else have we got? I think that's pretty much it. Pretty face, thank you very much. Just got my hair cut today. What risk to reward ratio do I use to trade? Good question. Good question, Fedeles. Hope I said that right. What risk to reward ratio do I use when I trade? I don't know. I don't know, and I don't care, because a risk to reward calculation is very incomprehensive in my opinion as an analyst, as a trader. As an analyst, it's very comprehensive. As a trader, it's dog shit in my opinion. And here's why. It's completely useless to look at risk to reward ratios as a trader in my opinion, because if you are putting money behind the idea of trading upwards, then it's probably because you think that the price is very likely to trade upwards. So looking at raw risk to reward ratios doesn't tell you the whole story. It's very similar to the BMI measurement, the body mass index. Google it, spell it like that. It is a measurement that will tell you if you are overweight, healthy, underweight, obese, different things like that. And it only uses 3 metrics, your age, I believe, your weight, and your height. And if you are a very heavy man or woman, but you are extremely muscular, it will show you as being obese. The risk to reward calculation, in my opinion, falls into the same trap. If you believe that the market is going to do something very big, and you're very, like you've done your analysis and you have a lot of reasons to believe that, for example, it's going to trade up, then looking at a risk to reward, like, oh, my stop loss is here, but my potential reward is up here. Look, it tells you a little bit, right? It tells you a little bit about what's going on, but it definitely doesn't tell you the full story, because the chances of breaking down, according to your analysis, will be quite low. So actually, a lot of the time, you might see, VIP members will see that my raw risk to reward on a certain trade isn't huge. Let me see if I can find you a very good example, actually. Take a look at this example. My stop loss on this is the big trade that hit 385% profit. My stop loss on this trade is placed at minus 19%, and my target is placed at 30%. And what we can see from here is, if I did my risk to reward calculation, I think my risk to reward would be something like 1.5 to 1, something like that. And that is not good, right? That's not a good risk to reward calculation, but this was the biggest profit I've ever made in my life on this trade. But the risk to reward calculation wasn't good. And that's because I thought it was extremely likely that Bitcoin would be able to break up higher. So the chances of my risk element coming into fruition, the chances of my stop loss being triggered, were very low in my view back then. And so it worked out really, really well. So I don't know my risk to reward. Over here, you can calculate it, and it would have been 1.5 to 1, but it almost doesn't matter. Or it would have been 1 to 1.5. I don't even know. That's how little knowledge I have of these kind of pointless things. It reminds me of when you would see traders, right? You probably get adverts of this on this YouTube channel and stuff as well. You would see traders who are talking about really weird things, like, I don't even know, they would have really weird measurements of what being successful as a trader looks like, and this is all where, like, they're trying to complicate it a lot so they can sell you their course or something. You see it all the time, happens in every industry. I'm especially looking at accountants and lawyers. Bloody hell, I hate them. I love them, but I hate them. I love mine, I hate the rest. But you know, it's where they would be bringing up a really weird, I'm gonna make up a definition now. It would be like on-flow analysis or something. That's on-chain analysis is a real thing. That is real, but I don't know, like, it doesn't even matter. They would just have a really weird metric to be judging success by, and I would you know, turn around in response and say, shut the fuck up. The only thing that matters is how much money you're making in profits. That's it. It really doesn't matter about anything else. You can have a million different measurements about a million different things, but at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is your account bigger than it was yesterday, yes or no? Is your account bigger than it was a month ago, yes or no? Really doesn't matter what other bullshit metric you have to measure success, be it risk to reward, or be it volatility in a portfolio even. If you have stop losses and you have contingency plans and you have fail-safe mechanisms in place to prevent you from suffering big losses, then the only question that matters is, are you richer than you were yesterday, yes or no? People overcomplicate this a lot. I don't know why. Well, I mean, I know why. It's because they can't do the simple stuff properly. But it's fine, right? Because if these people are messing it up, like, I make money from them because trading is a zero-sum game. But you know, this is a situation where, like, obviously I want my viewers to know the reality, and this is a really big deal where you know, like, it's just not something I'm interested in. I didn't mean to take rips at you. By the way, I'm gonna call you Stefan. I didn't mean to take rips at you at all. I'm taking rips at people who judge success by other really weird, completely random metrics, right? But at the end of the day, I'm sure all of you can agree with me that the only thing that really matters as a trader is if you're making money. And that's the only metric I care about looking at. And then, yeah, if you're doing it safely, is very, you know, like, it's equally important as well. So I think that's me done for this live stream. If we can shoot up those likes again, that would be absolutely great. Once again, if you're new to the channel, do hit that subscribe button, tick the bell so you gain access to all of these videos. If you want to join VIP and see what's been going on inside of the VIP channel, how people have been able to make really big profits very consistently, how they've been able to do it safely with healthy strategies, especially for a lot of people for the first time. Some people joining VIP who previously felt very scared about it. If you want to see how they've been able to, you know, make their money quite quickly after joining VIP, because this has been a very, I mean, for a lot of people, they join VIP and it's different to anything they've ever tried or considered before, and that has a lot of times resulted in very quick gains for people. If you want to see how that kind of stuff is possible, ask your questions. If you even want to get on the phone with a member of the team or even myself, then you can do all of that by following these steps right here. It's gonna take you to my completely free Telegram channel. If you're a trader and you trade crypto, then you should already be on Telegram, because it's the place to be. It's like it's almost like having breakdown cover, you know, like if you're a driver, you probably have breakdown cover, and that's what that's what Telegram is. It's a really quick way to gain access to me and ask me anything you like. Puts you in a direct message with me, a direct message app with me. Follow the first link inside of the description, then click on the @FORFLIES button on the bottom of any post inside of FORFLIES Gold, and then click on send message to ask me how to join VIP. With that, I really hope you have enjoyed this video. Let's see if there's any this live stream even. Let's see if there's any final questions. Let's say you have 1 Bitcoin to trade in your exchange. What is a wide percentage to trade each time? And what is the stop loss and profit should I set? I couldn't say for you, but I personally use between 5 and 10% of my portfolio per trade. of my trading banners. Yeah, let's get those likes up. Let's hit the subscribe button if you are new to the channel. It really does help the channel. Thank you very much, Crypto Omega. Thank you to everyone who joined. Once again, a shout out to Marcus for being the first guy to like this video. And I think with that, I'm going to be going. It's been a good stream. We're going to do another one tomorrow, maybe, if something interesting happens. Hopefully, I'm going to be doing more over these next couple of weeks. Always love doing these live streams, as you know. Probably my favorite thing to do on YouTube. And I will see you in the next one. By the way, if you're not interested in joining VIP, you should still be in this Telegram channel, because there's a lot of very, very valuable content going on inside of this Telegram channel. And you find it by clicking on the first link in the description down below. All right. Thank you, Bill. You're super, super great. Thank you. All right. I'll see you all in the